like a demonstration.
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah.
Telephone for you.
Okay.
Okay, killer. I'll see you later.
Born into one of Hollywood's most famous families, Jamie Lee Curtis could have spent her life protecting the image that came with her legendary last name. Instead, she chose a completely different path, at a time when celebrities carefully controlled every photo and public appearance. Curtis stunned the entertainment world by exposing realities most stars worked hard to hide. Her bold decisions challenged long-standing beauty standards and left Hollywood buzzing with controversy. But behind those headline-making moments was a much deeper story. What pushed Jamie Lee Curtis to reject the industry's polished image, confront personal struggles, and face painful family battles that unfolded over decades? The answers reveal a journey far more dramatic than many people ever realized. As the new millennium began, Curtis launched one of the most talked-about image campaigns of her career. Rather than embracing Hollywood glamour, she decided to pull back the curtain and show the public a side of celebrity life that was rarely seen. In 2002, she appeared on the cover of More magazine in a way that immediately grabbed national attention. Fans were stunned by the photographs. The actress appeared wearing simple black athletic wear, with short hair, no makeup, and no attempt to hide the natural signs of aging. Even more surprising, Curtis personally insisted that the images not be digitally altered. Stretch marks, wrinkles, and other natural features remained visible for the world to see, creating a powerful contrast to the heavily edited celebrity images dominating magazines at the time. Many media outlets described the move as groundbreaking. Curtis wanted to challenge unrealistic beauty expectations and expose the illusion of perfection, often created through lighting, styling, and editing. She didn't stop there. The actress also spoke openly about cosmetic procedures and her own experiences with them. She famously stated, "I have tried everything from liposuction, Botox injections, to facelifts, and you know what? It does not work at all." Her comments sparked major discussion across Hollywood. Curtis argued that excessive cosmetic procedures often create unnatural results rather than solving insecurities. Her willingness to speak so honestly helped position her as a leading voice in conversations about aging naturally and rejecting impossible beauty standards. While she was making headlines for her outspoken views, her acting career remained stronger than ever. In 2003, Curtis teamed up with Lindsay Lohan for the comedy hit Freaky Friday. The body swap film quickly became a global favorite and connected with audiences of all ages. The movie generated impressive box office success and earned widespread praise. Curtis's performance was especially celebrated, leading to a Golden Globe nomination and reminding Hollywood that she remained one of the industry's most versatile stars. Yet while her professional life was thriving, a painful family situation was quietly approaching. In September 2010, Curtis faced the loss of her father, legendary actor Tony Curtis, who passed away at age 85. What followed shocked both fans and the media. Reports soon emerged that Tony Curtis had revised his will only months before his death, creating a major inheritance dispute that quickly became public. According to court records, the revised will excluded Jamie Lee Curtis and her siblings from receiving any portion of his estate. One of the most widely reported sections of the document stated, "I acknowledge the existence of my children, but I intentionally and consciously choose not to leave any assets to them." The estate was reportedly left to his sixth wife, triggering widespread debate and media coverage. Curtis and her siblings challenged the decision through legal channels, hoping to contest the will. However, later court filings indicated that the challenge ultimately did not succeed. The legal strength of the document made overturning it extremely difficult, and the dispute eventually came to an end. It was another painful chapter in a life that had already seen its share of personal hardships. Despite family struggles and public scrutiny, Curtis continued moving forward. In 2018, she returned to one of the most iconic roles of her career, Laurie Strode, in Halloween. Produced by Blumhouse, the film became a major success and introduced her legendary character to an entirely new generation of moviegoers. Many actors begin slowing down as they approach their later years, but Curtis seemed determined to do the opposite. Her return to the horror franchise proved she could still command massive audiences and remain a powerful force at the box office. The success marked the beginning of an incredible career resurgence. That resurgence reached its highest point on March 12, 2023. After more than 4 decades in the entertainment industry, Jamie Lee Curtis finally achieved one of Hollywood's greatest honors. At age 64, she won her first Academy Award, taking home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Her unforgettable performance as Deirdre Beauberger in Everything Everywhere All at Once earned praise from critics around the world. The role showcased her comedic timing, dramatic range, and ability to completely transform herself on screen. For many fans, the victory felt long overdue and represented the culmination of a remarkable career. The momentum didn't stop there. In 2024, Curtis expanded her list of achievements by earning major recognition on television as well. Her success at the Emmy Awards further demonstrated her ability to excel across multiple forms of entertainment and remain relevant in an industry known for constant change. As 2025 arrived, Curtis found herself at the center of another highly anticipated project. Nostalgia swept through Hollywood when she reunited with Lindsay Lohan for Freakier Friday, the long-awaited sequel to the beloved 2003 hit. Fans who had grown up with the original movie rushed to see the pair together again. Released globally on August 8, 2025, the film quickly became a commercial success. Strong box office numbers helped push domestic earnings beyond the $94 million mark, while its streaming performance kept audiences engaged long after its theatrical release. The reunion sparked excitement worldwide and reminded viewers why the original film had become such a classic. By November, the movie was continuing to perform strongly on Disney+, where new and longtime fans alike embraced the sequel. The chemistry between Curtis and Lohan remained a major selling point, helping drive a powerful wave of nostalgia that stretched across multiple generations of viewers. Entering 2026, Curtis showed no signs of slowing down. She joined the television adaptation of Patricia Cornwell's popular Scarpetta series, a major crime drama project produced by Amazon Prime Video. The series premiered on March 11, 2026, attracting significant attention from both critics and audiences. In the show, Curtis portrayed Dorothy, the sister of the main character played by Nicole Kidman. The series debuted to strong reviews and impressive viewership numbers. Confidence in the project was so high that production on a second season reportedly moved forward almost immediately after the premiere. The rapid expansion of the series reflected Curtis's continuing influence in the entertainment business. Decades into her career, she remained attached to major productions capable of generating excitement, ratings, and strong audience interest. Few performers maintain that level of demand for so long, making her longevity particularly remarkable. That same month, Curtis's production company, Comet Pictures, also generated attention at the SXSW Film Festival. The psychological thriller Sender, produced through her company, received positive reactions and added another accomplishment to her growing list of creative ventures. Around the same period, Curtis participated in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, where she discussed ongoing challenges within the entertainment industry. Never one to stay silent on issues she feels strongly about, she spoke candidly about hiring practices and the need for fresh opportunities within Hollywood. Even after decades in the spotlight, Jamie Lee Curtis continued proving that she wasn't afraid to challenge the system, speak her mind, and keep pushing boundaries. At the same time, Jamie Lee Curtis was becoming known for something far bigger than acting alone. She openly spoke about giving opportunities to the next generation and helping talented people break into the industry. One example was the film Sender, directed by Russell Goldman, a filmmaker who had once worked as her assistant on set. Rather than keeping doors closed, Curtis used her influence to help turn his filmmaking ambitions into reality. It was another example of her belief that success means lifting others up along the way. Even in her late 60s, Curtis continued embracing every stage of life without apology. She proudly stated, "I never hide my age from the public." While many celebrities tried to fight aging or avoid discussing it, she did the opposite. Walking red carpets with her natural white hair, she became a symbol of confidence, authenticity, and self-acceptance. Her continued success proved that talent and determination do not come with an expiration date. But to understand where that resilience came from, we have to travel back to the beginning. Long before the awards, blockbuster films, and industry praise, Jamie Lee Curtis was growing up in a household filled with both extraordinary privilege and deep personal challenges. The roots of her strength were planted during a childhood shaped by fame, family conflict, and emotional heartbreak. On November 22, 1958, Jamie Lee Curtis was born in Santa Monica, California. From the moment she entered the world, public interest followed close behind. She was the daughter of two of Hollywood's biggest stars, actor Tony Curtis and actress Janet Leigh. To many people, it seemed like she had been born into a dream life filled with glamour and opportunity. Yet life inside the famous family was far from perfect. While the outside world saw a glamorous Hollywood couple, Serious problems were developing behind closed doors. In 1962, when Jamie was still very young, her parents' marriage came to an end. The separation became a major media story and marked a turning point that would affect the family for years to come. Entertainment publications closely followed the breakup of the famous couple. After the divorce, Tony Curtis moved on with his own life and remarried. Jamie would later speak about difficult family dynamics and emotional distance that developed over the years. Those experiences left a lasting impact and shaped much of her outlook on life and relationships. Fortunately, she found stability through her mother, Janet Leigh, and her stepfather, Robert Brandt. Their support helped provide a foundation during a challenging period. Even while growing up around celebrities and cameras, Jamie worked to establish her own identity rather than simply living in the shadow of her famous parents. In 1977, she enrolled at the University of the Pacific and initially pursued studies in law and criminology. At the time, acting was not necessarily the guaranteed path many people might assume. She appeared ready to build a future away from the spotlight. But fate had other plans waiting just around the corner. After only one semester, an unexpected opportunity arrived through Universal Studios. A contract offer opened the door to professional acting, and Jamie faced a life-changing decision. Choosing to follow her instincts, she left college and stepped into an industry where success was anything but guaranteed. Many people questioned the move, believing she was taking an enormous risk. That gamble changed everything. In 1978, director John Carpenter selected the young actress for the lead role of Laurie Strode in a low-budget independent horror film called Halloween. At the time, few people could have predicted what would happen next. Production costs were modest, and Curtis reportedly earned only around $8,000 for the role. What followed became movie history. Made on a budget of roughly $300,000, Halloween exploded into a worldwide sensation. The film earned tens of millions of dollars and became one of the most successful independent movies ever released. Almost overnight, Jamie Lee Curtis transformed from an unknown newcomer into one of the most recognizable faces in horror cinema. The momentum continued. In 1980, she appeared in successful thrillers including The Fog and Prom Night. Audiences connected with her performances, and her ability to portray fear, determination, and vulnerability made her stand out from other rising stars. That same year, she added Terror Train to her growing list of horror credits, followed by Halloween 2 in 1981. Each project strengthened her reputation. Critics and fans began referring to her as the Scream Queen, a title that recognized her importance to the horror genre. It was a powerful compliment, but it also created a new challenge. Hollywood increasingly viewed her through a very narrow lens, limiting perceptions of what she could do as an actress. Rather than accepting those limitations, Curtis decided to fight back. She realized that if she wanted lasting success, she would need to prove she was capable of much more than surviving scary situations on screen. Determined to break free from the label, she began searching for projects that would showcase entirely different sides of her talent. That opportunity arrived in 1983 with the comedy film Trading Places. Starring alongside Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, Curtis took on the role of Ophelia, a sharp and complex character far removed from the horror heroines audiences knew so well. The project represented a major shift in both her career and public image. The film generated enormous attention. Curtis embraced a bold new direction and demonstrated that she could handle comedy just as effectively as suspense. The role helped audiences see her in a completely different light and shattered assumptions about the type of performer she could be. Suddenly, Hollywood was paying attention for entirely new reasons. The gamble paid off in spectacular fashion. Her performance earned widespread praise and won her a prestigious BAFTA award. More importantly, it proved that she was far more than the daughter of famous parents or a horror movie star. She had established herself as a serious performer capable of succeeding across multiple genres. While her career was reaching new heights, another life-changing chapter was unfolding behind the scenes. In 1984, Curtis was flipping through an issue of Rolling Stone magazine when she noticed a photograph of actor and writer Christopher Guest. According to Curtis, she immediately told a friend, "I am going to marry this man." What sounded like an impossible prediction quickly became reality. Later that year, on December 18, 1984, Jamie Lee Curtis and Christopher Guest married. Their relationship would go on to become one of Hollywood's longest-lasting marriages, standing strong through decades of fame, career changes, and industry pressures. Years later, Christopher Guest inherited the title of Baron Hayden Guest through the British peerage system. As a result, Jamie Lee Curtis legally became Lady Hayden Guest. While the title attracted attention, the couple remained known more for their stable relationship than for aristocratic connections. Professionally, Curtis continued building momentum. In 1988, she starred in the acclaimed comedy A Fish Called Wanda. The clever script and unforgettable performances helped turn the film into a major success and a lasting fan favorite. Curtis received significant award recognition, including nominations from both the Golden Globes and BAFTA awards. The film further cemented her reputation as one of Hollywood's most reliable and versatile stars. She had successfully escaped the limitations of horror and established herself as a performer capable of excelling in comedy, drama, and action alike. Then came another career-defining moment. In 1994, Curtis starred in James Cameron's blockbuster action film True Lies opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger. Taking on the role of Helen Tasker, she delivered a performance that blended comedy, emotion, and action with remarkable confidence. The film became a huge commercial success and introduced her talents to yet another generation of movie fans. By this point, Jamie Lee Curtis had done something few actors ever achieve. She had broken free from typecasting, survived the pressures of growing up in a famous family, and built a career entirely on her own terms. And as the years would prove, her biggest achievements were still waiting ahead. One of the most unforgettable moments of Jamie Lee Curtis's career came during True Lies. Her now famous dance sequence instantly became one of the movie's most talked about scenes and remains a fan favorite decades later. Audiences were stunned by her confidence, charisma, and willingness to take risks on screen. But while fans were celebrating her success, painful struggles were quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Curtis also earned respect for performing several demanding scenes herself. Among the film's most memorable moments was a sequence involving a helicopter over open water. Her commitment to the role showcased the fearless attitude that had defined much of her career. Yet while her professional life appeared stronger than ever, a devastating personal tragedy was about to shake her world. In July 1994, the Curtis family suffered a heartbreaking loss when Jamie's half-brother, Nicholas Curtis, passed away at just 23 years old. The tragedy deeply affected the family and left emotional wounds that would last for years. For Jamie, the loss carried even greater weight because she was privately dealing with struggles of her own at the time. Behind the awards, red carpets, and blockbuster success was a difficult chapter that remained hidden from public view for nearly a decade. From the late 1980s through the late 1990s, Curtis battled a dependence on prescription pain medication, a struggle she would later discuss openly in hopes of helping others facing similar challenges. According to Curtis, the issue began after a cosmetic procedure. Following surgery to address under-eye puffiness, she was prescribed Vicodin as part of her recovery. What started as legitimate medical treatment gradually developed into a much larger problem. Like many people who experienced prescription medication dependence, she did not immediately realize how serious the situation was becoming. As the years passed, Curtis worked hard to keep the struggle hidden from those around her. Publicly, she remained a successful actress with a thriving career. Privately, however, she was fighting a battle that few people knew existed. The contrast between her public image and private reality became increasingly difficult to manage. Even while dealing with dependency, she attempted to maintain strict personal boundaries. She later explained that she created rules for herself and tried to prevent the problem from affecting her work responsibilities. But addiction rarely follows rules for long. Over time, the situation became harder to control and increasingly difficult to hide. Curtis eventually admitted that her dependence led her to make decisions she deeply regretted. She later revealed that she sometimes took medication that did not belong to her, behavior that reflected how powerful the struggle had become. Looking back, she has spoken honestly about the shame and fear she experienced during those years. A major turning point arrived in 1998. During that period, an incident involving medication belonging to her sister Kelly Curtis forced Jamie to confront the reality of what was happening. The moment became impossible to ignore and pushed her toward a decision that would ultimately change her life. Knowing she could no longer continue hiding the truth, Jamie sat down and wrote a deeply emotional letter to her sister. In it, she confessed what had been happening and prepared herself for the possibility of anger, disappointment, or rejection. It was one of the most vulnerable moments of her life. Instead, she received compassion and support. Kelly Curtis responded with concern, honesty, and love. According to Jamie, her sister's powerful message stayed with her forever. Kelly told her, "I love you, but I am not going to watch you die." Those words hit with enormous force and became a wake-up call that Jamie could not ignore. That conversation marked the beginning of a dramatic turnaround. Rather than continuing down a destructive path, Curtis chose to seek help. The decision was not easy, but it became one of the most important choices she would ever make. For the first time, she fully confronted the problem and committed herself to recovery. A key breakthrough came on February 3, 1999. After reading an article discussing addiction and recovery, Curtis felt inspired to take action. She enrolled in a recovery program and began the difficult process of rebuilding her life. She also made the courageous decision to be completely honest with her husband about what she had been experiencing. Recovery required patience, commitment, and tremendous personal strength. Curtis later explained that facing the truth was challenging, but it ultimately gave her freedom. Instead of hiding behind secrets, she chose openness and accountability. That decision became the foundation for everything that followed. A few years later, she publicly shared her story in an interview with Redbook magazine. By speaking openly, she hoped to reduce the stigma surrounding addiction and encourage others to seek help if they were struggling. Her honesty resonated with many people because it showed that addiction can affect anyone, regardless of fame, success, or status. Since beginning her recovery journey in 1999, Curtis has remained committed to sobriety. Over the years, she has repeatedly described recovery as the greatest achievement of her life. While awards, box office records, and industry recognition brought professional satisfaction, overcoming addiction became the accomplishment she valued most. What makes her story especially powerful is the fact that she refused to hide from her past. Rather than pretending the difficult years never happened, she chose to discuss them openly and use her experience to help others. That willingness to be honest transformed a painful chapter into one of the most inspiring parts of her legacy. Her journey reflects a pattern that has appeared throughout her life. Whether challenging Hollywood beauty standards, breaking free from typecasting, overcoming family conflicts, or confronting personal struggles, Jamie Lee Curtis repeatedly chose courage over comfort. Time after time, she faced difficult realities head-on rather than running from them. From horror icon to comedy star, from Golden Globe winner to Academy Award recipient, her career has been filled with unforgettable milestones. Yet many admirers believe her greatest triumph happened away from movie sets and award stages. It came through her determination to reclaim her life, strengthen her relationships, and build a future grounded in honesty and resilience. Today, Jamie Lee Curtis stands as one of Hollywood's most respected figures, not only because of her remarkable body of work, but because of the authenticity she has shown throughout her journey. Her story proves that setbacks do not have to define a person. What matters most is how they respond, rebuild, and continue moving forward despite the challenges they face. Looking back at her extraordinary life, one thing becomes clear. The true power of Jamie Lee Curtis has never come from fame, family connections, or even blockbuster success. It comes from her ability to confront adversity, learn from it, and emerge stronger than before. That is the legacy that continues to inspire people around the world today. From personal struggles to career-defining victories, Jamie Lee Curtis has shown that real strength comes from facing life's toughest moments head-on. Which chapter of her incredible journey stands out to you the most? Let us know in the comments below.